Eilert gone off the road. God knows what's happened to him, and we're now going to be side by side with King. Hubert gets a monstrous toe off the both of us. We're going to go 3 wide, coming down into turn 11. So this is going to be really, really difficult to hold it. What is up, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. We're here for the first video on F1 2020, the career mode. We're not doing my driver like everyone else is doing. We're going to do a normal career mode. Only this time it's with a bit of a twist, as opposed to what we've done in previous career mode. So this is my dude. This is who we're going to be using in blue overalls currently, and the helmet is maybe a little indication of what we're going to do further down the line. But here we are. As you can see, we've got all the options for the F2 experience. We've got the taster, the short season, and the full season. So what we're going to do, I'm going to fully commit to this career mode. We're not going to skip straight to F1. We're going to do a full F2 season in the 2019 cars. So here we have the teams. You can see every single different team on here. I think the team we're going to pick is one that I prefer in real life. So we're actually going to end up picking the only option that I can really see on the table, which is going to be Prema Racing. So Prema is going to be the car and the team we're going to drive for. Now the Academy, traditionally Prema drivers have an affiliation to the Ferrari Driver Academy, not the Mercedes. So the Mercedes is straight out the window. In terms of Ferrari, not feeling it. Not feeling Renault or McLaren. So we're actually going to go with the Red Bull Junior Academy, which means essentially if we do good enough in F2, we're actually going to move up into the AlphaTauri team, which is going to be good, like the car, and also have a fondness for one of the drivers. So that's what we're going to do, Prema and Red Bull Driver Academy. So unfortunately we can't mod in, you know, the Red Bull livery cars that you see in, you know, the junior feeder series like F3 and F2. So we're going to have to stick with the normal Prema car, and it's going to have KFC sponsors galore, thanks to Sean Galel. So we're going to wake him out the seat. We'll keep his sponsors and all that, just because I'd rather partner Mick Schumacher. And I don't think you actually get an option in this. I think you're given the second driver spot. So let's say your favourite driver is in... But here we are, first round of the season. We've got Sakhir Bahrain in the daylight. Bearing in mind, obviously, this is the 2019 season leading into the 2021. So it will be the full season as opposed to what people are doing at the moment. You know, starting in Austria, having back-to-back rounds in Austria. But further down the line, you know, if we do another F2 series, which I guarantee we will, we're obviously going to end up doing back-to-back Austria. But here we are in our office for the first time this season. We have quite a few races in this car. I think 24 races in total, obviously spanning the 12 rounds that the F2 season does have. But I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, I like F2 a lot, and obviously I like Bahrain. We've got these little... practice programs which hinder me down the line, but nonetheless, let's get into how practice went. Practice was a interesting scenario until this happens. So coming out of turn 4 on our way to turn 5 and 6, you can see that the gears aren't right, the car doesn't sound correct, and as we come through turn 7, then, well, so promptly moving into qualifying, as I couldn't take any more practice with the damaged car that I had. We're going to come across the line with about a minute to go, and you can see we're not even going to improve our time, and we're stuck in 9th just behind our teammate Mick Schumacher. So we've definitely got some time to find on this lap. I think I know where it is on the table, but obviously actually getting out the car is different. Through sector 1, we're up about 2.5 tenths, which is pretty handy. We get all over the shop there as we're coming down into turn 11. Now you can see sessions over, so we've got to carry what speed we do have and the momentum as best we can to actually try and get a better position than 9th. 9th's not a great starting position, but coming through this corner here is definitely our best corner, and we're actually going to set purple sector 2, so we're looking pretty good as we're going to come across the line now to end our first qualifying session, and we managed to get an amazing P2 in qualifying. We couldn't quite beat Jordan King, but that was one hell of a squeaky bum moment, should we say, given the fact that obviously, you know, my first qualifying I want to do well, P9 behind our teammate, which isn't great. You know, if we want to be signed to an F1 team, we're going to need to outperform our teammate as well as basically everyone on the grid. We're probably looking to actually end up winning F2 if we can, because, you know, end of the day, usually people who win F2 and all that end up going to Formula 1. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, out of all the F2 drivers, the only person who hasn't made it or is still not in F1 is Sergei Sorokin. Other than that, Charlie Leclerc, Alexander Albon, Norris, Russell, you know, they're still in F1. Obviously, Russell and Leclerc being the two winners, essentially, of F2 up until this point. Obviously, us being in 2019. But P2 is a pretty good job on the grid. I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully, we can actually do a little bit here and actually get up to a pretty handy position. But we're going to run through the grid now. We've got Jordan King on pole position with ourselves, with our arms folded. Jack Aitken and Nikita Mazepin. I don't know how he's got P4. He's not that great. Anton Hubert, P6. You love to see it. Again, our teammate Mick Schumacher being pushed down to 9th. So if he can improve at least one place, he'll be obviously there for that coveted reverse grid pole for the sprint race. Tatiana Calderon 17 and the Lord and Saviour Mahavira Gunnathan P20. So as we make our way to our grid spot, Jordan King's pretty much already in his grid spot. Hung him out to dry a little bit there, so his temperatures will hopefully, if we're lucky, fingers crossed, will go through the roof here. So hopefully we can get this season off to a good start. You know, first race for this team, hopefully the only race season that we'll do with this team. But hopefully a podium's on the cards. A win would be even better, especially in our first race of the season. But we're ready for the 5 lights to go out here in Bahrain. And we are underway. Wheel spin galore. As you can see, we're twitching the steering wheel left and right just to gain some traction. Jack Aitken gets a much better start than us. It looks like Callum Ilott is also going to go around us as we try and defend off that. Maybe have a look at Aitken down into turn 1. We tap Jordan King a little bit, climbing all over the curb on the exit there, just to actually try and make sure we maintain that position. But I believe Jackson will have a fantastic run on us here as we climb up the hill into turn 4. So Jack Aitken looking pretty handy off the start. Something we've got to work on, and I think you'll see through the subsequent episodes that we do. Starts is not my strong suit. I figured something out with them, but we'll delve into that come the sprint race. It's only there, but Jack Aitken here, coming up to our favourite bit of track. You can see we've got so much speed. Like the overspeed compared to me and Jack at the moment is absolutely insane. So if he's going to be this slow, we're actually going to have to make a move on him pretty early. We close up to him there, but you know, the rubber band effect, obviously as we get close on the exit, he'll pull away a little bit. So we've kind of got to think, is it worth being held up by Jack Aitken, or are we going to go for a dive here into the final corner? We're going to go side by side, maybe a little bit of contact. It's hard to tell. Let's just pretend there wasn't any. Anyway, we're up into P2 as we start the second lap. So we're going to go defensive down the start finish straight, because obviously, you know, we didn't have a clean exit. Obviously we was jostling for position with Aitken, so we're going to hug the inside line of the start finish straight just to make sure we don't give him any slipstream. Down into turn 1, it looks like we've got the job done, so happy days for us. Now we've got King, who's not too far up the road. Apparently he's less than a second, but I can guarantee you it's taken a while to update. But coming through onto the end of lap 2, we've set purple sector 1 and sector 2, so obviously King ultimately having the fastest lap at the start of lap 1, being that he was the first car across the line. He sets another fastest lap, but we're actually going to come across and smash that by a pretty chunky amount. I think now the delta's updated, obviously 2.3 is the gap. We're going to have to try and manage that. King, the following lap, sets another fastest lap, and then we come through and smash that. So it's very difficult with this. So I found the setup was hindering me a lot during qualifying, and the wings I ended up going through was pretty good, but obviously when it comes to the actual racing down the straight lines, I really was struggling, like massively struggling. But we left that pit entry very last second. I'm not sure how we made it in time. I actually looked back at it, and if you pause it as I enter the line, I'm 2 miles an hour over, but it gave us it, so we will take it. But first pit stop of the season. Come on, boys, make sure it's a pretty quick one. That'd be pretty handy. Unfortunately, we can't jump King. I don't think we'll see many cars being jumped, you know, unless they're held in the pit lane, because, you know, 6.2 seconds, that's quite a lot of time, especially in relative to Formula 1 at least anyway. But we're going to come back out in P12. That's not too great. We've been very ginge on the throttle as we come out of the exit, especially with these cold tyres, you know, no tyre blankets in F2. But we're going to come across the line again, and everyone who had a stop to make has made their stop, so no drama there. We're still in P2. Our fuel's not looking too great, but you know, it is what it is. But coming up to start lap 11, we're going faster again, and we've closed the gap to King by down to less than half a second. But the problem we're having is with the straight line disadvantage we have, it's kind of hard to keep in a position with him. So we're going to have to worry about that and bear that in mind. We give him a little nudge into turn 2 as we go through. We've got Giuliano Alesi who's gone out on lap 11, so that's not great. We're going to have a cheeky look at what actually happened to Alesi. And down the start finish straight, that's our teammate behind him in P9, I believe. So this might gift, but it should in fact gift Mick Schumacher P8. So it looks like he had an engine failure, but you can look on the right hand side, our gearbox is orange. Now this is new for F1 2020 as far as I'm aware. I never had this issue before with F2 cars. The gearbox is incredibly sensitive, either that or I just ruined gearboxes. Correa's now gone out of the session. We've got a safety car here in Bahrain, so lap 13, so there's 3 laps to go. and we've got a safety car. Now, when I have a look at Bahrain, you can see there's visible smoke there, so his engine's obviously completely let go. Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to gift Mick. It does gift Mick a position, so Mick is roughly about P7 now, so he's looking pretty good for the next race. So the one saving grace with this was the fact that I was able to go easy on my gearbox. I don't know whether I just absolutely murder gearboxes, which is going to be interesting if we get to F1, just on the fact that obviously, you know, they've got long-term durability. They have to last for quite a long time, and it looks like I went through a gearbox in practice, and it looks like this gearbox is going to be useless after this race as well. But John and King for the restart. Safety car's peeling off. We've got to try and stick with King as best we can, and you never know, hopefully we may even get this win. But we've got to be mindful of our gearbox. That is a problem, and our fuel isn't looking great. We're still in the red at the moment. This has helped us a lot, but King starts to put his foot down. We're in his slipstream. It's a pretty good restart from himself, but we actually keep up with him incredibly well. Eyelet's on our rear end as well. Hubert P4. So we're going to come down into turn 1. We might have a look into turn 1. We might have a look for the lunge. We'll go down the inside, and he moves under braking, and he's actually lopped off a chunk of our front wing. Why is he moving on the braking? Who does he think he is? Verstappen? No. Wait, what's going on? Eyelet looks like he's got past. In fact, Eyelet's actually done an amazing job to get through. I thought he might have had a puncture at one point, but Hubert is now looking at King as well. We're going to have a look in the replay and see what happened with King with an onboard shot. So he's sticking to the left-hand side. We're going to move to the right-hand side, and just there, he moves as we're in the braking phase, and I lose a chunk of my front wing. We'll see it here as well from a better angle. I've already got a chunk missing out my nose, which is great. Yeah, and then he just jerks to the right while we're braking. Whether to put me off or I don't know, but it wasn't ideal. But moving on to lap 15, we managed to keep this gap a little bit. Obviously, I'm starting to struggle with my front wing damage. We've actually been hit from behind by Jordan King. Eyelet's gone off the road. God knows what's happened to him, and we're now going to be side by side with King. Hubert gets a monstrous toe off the both of us. We're going to go 3 wide coming down into turn 11, so this is going to be really, really difficult to hold it between these two cars. Hubert to the right, King to the left. We managed to get our nose in front. King's giving us a little argy-bargy, and you can kind of see the damage on his front wing from obviously where he's hit. I guess he's hit Idle at some point, but King down our inside here, coming through turn 13. We're going to get the inside line, and we're just going to hopefully just stretch out the corner. But King's actually spun somehow, so King's gone backwards. I'm not entirely sure what's happened there, so let's have a little look at what's happened with the drivers. So Eyelet goes into the back of us, probably not expecting us to brake. So Eyelet's all over the road at this point. King's about to be on his inside, I believe. So Eyelet obviously comes into the corner with King down his inside, and I think with the damage he's got, he just couldn't get the car moving really. So that's disappointing for Callum Eyelet, who's having a great race. Now here's Jake Aikens on board. He's got Hubert who's inside. Me and King are obviously just ahead of him. So he's going to hang it around the outside of Hubert, and he's just going to push King around and send King into the infield. But Boccolacci out of everyone's the real winner here, as we get really slidey on the exit. That's going to give Boccolacci a great run down the start finish straight on what is the final lap we're about to start. So Boccolacci's going to get squeezed as best as we can. We're going to get in a slipstream, hopefully to get as close to him as possible. We're going to have to try and send it round the outside here and Dorian, and hopefully maybe hold the lead up the hill. If not, we've only one real overtaking opportunity. If we get to the tight twisty sector, then we've got no hope. So we're going to give him a squeeze. We're practically side by side as we climb the hill up to turn 4. We're going to be in his slipstream, no DRS because of the safety car. So we're going to hold it. We're going to have one move to make this. We're going to have to dive it down his inside. We're going to get the job done, but we've got a bit of a problem. We can't downshift. We've got no downshift. Why no upshift, no downshift? What's going on? And you can see there on the right hand side, our gearbox is gone. On the final lap of our first F2 race, our gearbox has packed up, and oh, this is a horrific sight. I'm just being swamped. I'm in reverse grid pole currently. There, Schumacher's behind me in 10th. There's a little battle going on. I can't slow the car down because I'm stuck in 5th. Oh, this is horrific. Schumacher's up to 8th, so Schumacher's potentially on reverse grid pole. I'm literally just being mugged off by everyone. This is horrific. We've got... Oh, Ragunnisson's overtaking us. Oh, Christ. We're going to go down the inside of Ragunnisson as best we can, and it's not going to work. And we almost spit in. But the thing that intrigues me is that King and Eyelet are behind us. So the 3 cars that were leading this race, 1, 2, 3, are now in last. And we're just going to bring it into the pit lane. I can't be asked. I just can't be bothered. I can't describe to you how upset I was when I was doing this. The first race, really competitive. Had to work so hard this race to catch up to Jordan King. He lumps my front wing off, whatever, that's fine. I'm still leading the race. And then to take the lead off Boccolacci just to have my gearbox break, I wanted to cry. I honestly wanted to cry. I was so upset. I can't put it into words. Like, it was so depressing. Even watching it back now, it's just it's not great. It's really not great. But fair play to Dori Boccolacci for somehow making it through there and winning. Louis Delatraz finishes there 10th place. Oh man, that's a hard one. I think the worst part of it is having to start now, which is what, 18th place. But it's an interesting race. Hopefully we can make up some points tomorrow. You've got Hubert, P2 again. You love to see it. Aitken, P3 after knocking Jordan King out of the race. But I'm not sure where Boccolacci came from out of that. That was actually pretty mad. But hope you've enjoyed this video, guys. The sprint race will be up day after tomorrow. If you enjoyed this video, please do slap a like on it. It helps me out massively. And if you're new around there, please subscribe to the channel for more Formula 1 content. Look forward to this. Look forward to getting through the F2 season and then making our way into F1. Can't believe we're going to the finals. But nonetheless, that's been it for me, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.